Hello and welcome to this last session of Voidheart Symphony. We are here taking on the third vassal. Things have gotten a little truncated. So what we're going to be doing today in terms of our play structure is we're going to be doing a little bit of the city stuff, for like taking that first hour as much as the players want to do city stuff, hangouts, any of that thing to get stuff done here in that first part. And then we're going to move into the vassal shard. And we may have to hard frame a little bit to get to a conclusion point, but I want to try and do that today. Last time mentioned in terms of wishes was meeting the son of the vassal. There is also wanting to do the hangouts with the crew and maybe pushing on certain of the gauges for Patrick, and then also seeing if we can get some closure on the doppelganger. So those things are out there on the table as things we want to get through. I'm going to pull up my little NPCs tab here. So we left off last time with some investigation, and I think we left off with Pam essentially alerting our vassal that there was something going on that's pressing on the vassal in with that drop off of those messages, and I think the thing we established is that we can read that as confronting in person if we want, but it's entirely up to you. We definitely have the organized resistance, and we have the uncover the full details. So we have two of the elements of the four there on the Emperor's New Clothes.
And I think Pam actually confronted the vassal.
I think we read that sort of the indirect, the putting the things indirect, on. Okay. Yeah. So I think we can. I'm willing to read that as taken, as done, just to kind of move things forward a little there. If I can actually highlight that correctly. Apparently I can't. Fill color. Let's see. There we go. All right. So Sasha, do you have any crises that are imminent? Do you have any things you need to deal with? Do you have any tasks you want to take on before you dive into the castle?
I do have an imminent crisis, but that's not important. We don't need to pay attention to that. It's fine.
What is it? What is that imminent crisis?
I have a crisis tied to Lack. That's the locker app and how it's messing with my business. And I don't have a lot of money right now.
Yeah, you really haven't dealt with that, and that's going to be imminent when all this is comes crashing down. So, what would you like to do?
I would like to do another check-in, because I'm going to discover that this game could just be check-ins for all I care.
Okay, fair enough.
I really enjoy that part of it.
Fair, yeah.
And I think I'm sort of worried with how Gabriel's.
So you want to kind of track Gabriel down to talk to him?
Yeah.
Okay. Gabriel, outside of the class day, like where would Sasha track you down, or where would you arrange to meet if Sasha reached out to talk to you?
I think I would be hanging around the tide pools, with all the squishy anemones and spiny, I forgot they're called, these big prickly things. But yeah, maybe around the tide pools, if that sounds reasonable.
All right.
Probably we see in the background that same little seaside coffee shop or oceanside coffee shop with the barista in the background. We've got, we're reusing sets just to save a little bit on budget. And to build up some familiarities. So Sasha, you've come down there to meet Gabriel, and you'll see Gabriel kind of, I assume, shoes off, barefoot, walking around the tide pools. Gabriel?
Yeah, and I mean maybe that it feels like forever ago it happened, but maybe that uh that skua bird, or however it's pronounced, the one that obtained some kind of intelligence, is sort of harassing me a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And I'm being harried endlessly by this thing. Maybe it's been chasing me down the beach for the last 10 minutes, trying to take the Cubano out of my hand, like it's South Beach, Miami or something, you know?
Yes. Gabriel's clearly trying to create an atmosphere, and this bird keeps coming down, Sasha.
So do we are we waiting on them to do something? It's like pointing down at the tide pool and
I think that I am fully squished up into a squatted position. I have pulled my hoodie up over my knees and pulled the hood up over me, so I am this nice compact little ball. And I say, at this point, I'm just trying to trick it into thinking I'm a rock, and it'll go away on its own. So I'm being very still and trying not to make eye contact with anything. And I know it's not working, but
I think you can still smell whatever you have in your pocket.
I'm not giving up these fries for anything, Sasha.
So, do you come out here to fight with the birds a lot?
Well, I normally come out here so that I can bond with the sea slugs, but they are deep in the pools today, and so I have nothing but this obnoxious bird to contend with. What brings you out here?
Well, I've just been. Things have been strange recently, sort of surreal and existentially upsetting, and I don't know. I thought maybe you looked like things have been weird for you recently.
And I think I've become a little bit more serious at this point. Yeah, they've been pretty tough. There's a I imagine that Charlotte talked about it. There's a doppelganger running around. I assume it's from the castle, but whatever it is, it doesn't seem to mean me any harm. I don't know if I should get rid of it or not. All another day, I guess.
I've been trying to figure out what to do with the things from the castle, too.
All I can think to do.
If I have to live part of my life as pretending to be a part of the castle, at what point does it stop being pretending and just start being part of my life?
I don't even like the idea of pretending. I've already kind of been there, and it's nothing you want. Not if you can help it, at least. If I had it my way, we would just get rid of this vassal, blow up the whole castle, and be done with everything.
You find the black powder stores inside that thing, we'll light it up.
Something tells me that that thing can't be destroyed by physical means. It's probably some kind of weird mental construct that only exists in our imagination or something weird like that. These things never operate according to human laws. Trust me, I know. But it doesn't change the fact that I hate the whole thing and want to wash my hands of it.
I like that. That's sort of what's been on Sasha's mind, like wanting to get some advice from you about how to move between the two worlds and not feel stuck in one.
Yeah, I mean, out of character, I think that if I had to deliver some degree of advice to the extent that my character is able and emotionally mature enough to give such advice, I think it would basically be you got to sever ties to the castle altogether. But I think that you probably would be able to tell that that's me projecting a little bit.
So let's see.
So then each of you will trigger your hangout move if you wish. And then there'll be a roll on your part, Sasha, for fealty. So Sasha, what is your hangout move? And do you wish to
So,
trigger it?
I think so. When you help the magician with a project of theirs, which is sort of like chewing on my place in the castle is what I'm sort of considering my project here. They teach you a mundane skill you didn't know before, like review paintings, etc. It's time to use a roll advantage. I think because I'm tying this into my city move from the gardener, which is when you check in with a rebel, you may refresh one of their gauges if you do pick the cost. And I'm going to tick lack as I dig into my own stocks. And I think coming out of this, Sasha is actually going to buy you some like scuba diving lessons. Because he sees this as a way that you're trying to separate more fully from the castle and like live in this world. So you can clear a tick off of fealty. That would sort of represent you moving away from the castle. And yeah, you can learn some sort of like underwater diving or maneuverability skill. I don't know if it'll come in, but it feels appropriate to the fiction.
It does feel appropriate.
And I'm gonna tick up lack too.
Okay. And then Gabriel, what is your hangout move when Sasha hangs out with you? What do you trigger if you wished?
I will say what I'm in the process of creating, and at some point in the scene, I ask what Sasha thinks. Sasha would describe their honest feelings about it and their place in the world, and if they do so, they get to mark world or void. Now, I see that, Sasha, you've got 4 ticks left on world or void, so maybe it doesn't really make a lot of sense to spend time on it, given that this is the final session and we're not likely to get 4 more ticks before the session's out, but I'll leave it to you if you'd like to activate that move.
I'm curious what you consider that you're in the process of creating. I'd be interested to find that out.
Well, at this moment, I'm in the process of creating some kind of coverage from the bird. I'm trying to figure out how to get this bird off my back because I imagine we haven't been seeing this on screen, but it's been, if this were the anime, this would be like the little B story to my life. There's always this bird popping in at the worst possible times. So that's the thing that I'm trying to figure out is how to get this bird away from me.
I think as you're like pretending to be a rock, at some point it half works, and then the bird just comes and stops attacking you, but lands on you for a moment. If you just walk away from what you know is happening, then, well, you're left stained with the actions interfering with.
That works. Yeah.
And I think I'd mark void. I don't think he's saying you can't just pretend the castle doesn't exist.
That makes sense.
Sure.
And then Patrick, will you check against fealty?
Yes. Wow, that's barely a weak hit.
But you still get to pick one. One of you can heal a condition. One of you can intensify your crew covenant, given that you're the only one who has those conditions. Which do you want to pick, Sasha?
I want to unfit covenant.
Let's come to Charlotte, and then we'll come to Gabriel. Kind of, we're going to follow the order, but I want to flip it since we just hit a scene with Gabriel. Charlotte,
So,
what do you want to do?
so I want to kind of get a sense of Carla's son. So certainly Mr. Throne gave me the sort of information that I needed, at least his name and all of that stuff. So I'm going to kind of look him up and find out where I might run into this young man.
Okay. So that feels a little bit like we're going to structure out to get to the whatchamacallit, the contact move.
Mhm.
So you'll find out that he is a student at essentially City of Ocean College. He is a sophomore there. And he is in like business major with no like a specialty defined, just business major.
But that's not a school that like has dorms or anything, right? That's a community college for the most part, isn't
Oh
it?
no, it has on-campus dorms as well.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I will start by going to see Terrence, and I will look up the campus directory and find out where I can run into this guy, or if he knows about it.
And oh, that's right. Actually, yeah, he will be able to track that down, and I think that you will find when you kind of check around that this is a student who like is borderline failing out. And eventually, like I think the locale that you'll be pointed to is in fact the sort of student the commons there, and that like apparently he hangs out there.
Interesting. Well, that's an easy place. I can go in there to take a look around to see if I can get eyes on him and what's going on. So I will do that.
Absolutely. And let me grab did we give him a name?
No, you have not, or a picture. Or...
Okay, let me grab an image here. One second. You will find that there are a group of people sitting around and talking and kind of intensely, but like there's no schoolwork or anything there. And you will see Howard sitting amongst them. And they've clearly like they're in like one of the sort of side rooms. There are
Mhm.
some rooms we can see through glass doors where they've got the like little student meeting. Students can kind of go and take over a room and hang out there. And this seems to be this kind of intense group there.
Like a club or something like that, kind of.
It looks a little more intense than that.
Like hostile intent, or like they're all caught up in it and like adding to the conversation, and it's sort of an exciting thing, or is it a
No, it actually looks a little more like a support meeting.
all right? Is there someone who's leading it?
There does seem to be like a student who's facilitating, maybe slightly older. And it does look that they are wrapping up.
Is it just guys, or is it women?
It is
and
co-ed.
men? It is co-ed. Okay. All right.
And that meeting will kind of break up, and you
Mhm.
see some chatter there, and they kind of head their different ways. And I think you see one of the students kind of hang there a little bit and says, "You need to, this is tough. You need to like make a choice about if you want to be here in school or not." But I talked to some other people, and you're really driving yourself off a cliff here. And you see Howard kind of nod, and maybe he's not listening as much as he should.
Mhm.
But this senior person will walk away.
Interesting. And he's still there?
Yeah.
I think I'll stop, and I'll take out one of my business cards, because I've gotten business cards after I
Right.
had that thing that seemed to be kind of a thing. And I'll say, are you Laura?
It looks up like, yeah.
And I'll hand her my business card.
Okay.
It's, I'm a tutor. If you need anything.
Did Student Resources send you?
Nope.
Okay.
She goes, it seems like there's a sort of Paul Court press right now.
I kind of don't understand what you're saying.
It's just someone asked me to give you my card.
Did my mom send you?
No.
Okay.
To kind of go, are you feeling pushed around right now? I don't know. Someone was just worried.
It's a lot. I just I got it. Now I think a point at which here we're going to be moving to
Okay.
maybe a move role here.
All right. And I will probably go, oh, they're making some popcorn, aren't they? It smells great. Do you want some?
Sure.
All right. And I will see if I can engage him just to get a sense of what he's struggling with.
Okay.
Is it
Let's-
academics or sensory or what?
Let's have you make that city move and roll connect.
Okay, so, and let's see here. That's the one that I gotta look up to see. Connect wants me to roll what?
If you're trying to convince them that you're worth their time to listen to, that's infamy. If you're trying to put up a false front, that's lack. I don't think you're making the vassal's threat clear, so heat isn't appropriate.
No, it is probably infamy, which is of course my worst. So I gotta break, but do better than threes. Okay, so I'm rolling 2d6. I rolled a 6 and a 1. I will fade a covenant
Okay.
to re-roll that one. Strong success. Yep, I did. So I have a strong success. with
Strong
that.
hit. So it becomes clear as you're talking to him that this is a kid who like had a mom with a lot of money, and that very clearly in high school he was at a private high school, and he realized like he's a little older than he ought to be for being a sophomore, and it becomes clear that he had a major substance abuse problem in high school, that he got sent somewhere to dry out, and that from the conversation you're getting is that his mother is like, you've done that, you've gone through that process, you're fixed now, and like has that expectation, and that he's still kind of broken.
Yeah,
Like he says, I mean, I'm not, I mean, there's a lot of drugs on campus. There's a lot of shit on campus, but it's really hard. And it's really hard to focus. And, I've tried to talk to my mom about it, but she won't listen. Like, because she's already solved the problem is solved.
and she goes, she nods and then she goes, but that's not a
No.
one.
No, and if it's not solved, then I'm at fault, and I'm deliberately doing this. So I don't know. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Fortnite, a lot of it.
Just to
I
keep
mean,
yourself busy,
yeah.
distracted. Ugh.
I don't even like Fortnite, and I've been playing a lot of Fortnite.
Well, then I think the first thing you should do is find a hobby you actually enjoy.
I just, and he's clearly amenable to tutoring, but you can tell this is somebody who needs
Intervention.
Needs
like a
intervention.
helpful intervention, not like the
right.
thing of kind of
Yeah.
going, and I think I rolled pretty well. And she goes, have you reached out, not for the academic stuff, but for the substance abuse stuff here on campus? They actually do have a couple of services, like some groups and stuff that meet.
That's what this was.
Oh. Was it helpful?
very non-committal.
Mhm. And I think she'll go, well, I'll tell you what, I will give you a call this evening. And we'll see if we can come up with a time.
Okay.
And yeah, I think download something different, you know?
So this does feel like, in terms of the castle move, that this is definitely meeting someone who the vassal holds dear. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, no, I think it does.
Okay.
That was what I was going for.
Yeah. Gabriel, let me come back to you, and then we will come to Pam. What do you want to do?
I've been trying to figure something out, and it's tricky here. I'm just trying to think of what loose ends I need to tie up before we go on kind of the final expedition into the castle. The only thing I can think of is trying to figure out what I want to do with this doppelganger, but it's not like I really need to deal with a crisis, because there's not a mechanical check mark in there. So
Well, we have an echo, something actually that Patrick brought up last time. Because we talked about the fact that some moves are castle moves, but there's some situations where they might be used in the city. Do you want to try and set it up to do that reach out move to this doppelganger?
to convince a minion to help you. That's interesting. Yeah, that sounds interesting. I'd have to track this guy down, but maybe you can frame it so that we make contact, unless I need to roll to get in touch.
I think what it is, something we need to roll. I think it's that you are there. You go, this is later on, after you've been on the beach, you've gone away, you've come back, and you are waiting for that bird. Like that sort of nervous expectation. And it doesn't come, but then you see down the beach this person in these kind of flamboyant clothes, this wild clothing, and that bird absolutely assaulting them.
Oh, that's a sure sign I've got my man.
Yep.
I'll jog down there and I'll try to see if I can shoo the bird away, or maybe see if the bird loses its mind when it sees two of us.
Yeah, I do think there is this. The bird is intelligent enough. It sees a second one, and it like goes and perches, and it's just watching, like trying to figure this out. And the minion will look at you. Again, looks like you, but maybe a little more damp and dressed very badly
Mm-hmm.
with the various clothing that it's stolen.
Yeah. So I've got my hands kind of on my knees. I'm doubled over a little bit, panting, trying to catch my breath after running through the sand to get down there. You, you're not really with the castle, are you?
Kind of raises his hands up in a gesture, just doesn't know.
You don't even know where you came from, do you?
And he reaches out his hand and he puts it like on your chest.
You're part of me, or at least used to be.
Gestures like back and forth to you, and it clearly doesn't quite understand what the relationship is.
I think I'm gonna hug him.
Let's have you roll cups.
see here. Oh, that's not bad. That's a 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So roll with +2.
$11.
That's an 11. So there is no cost. And I think there is that bit when you hug it that it becomes a little more real. And when it kind of steps back, you can see that its face, he looks similar to you now, but not identical.
More similar.
Like before, he looked fairly, like very much like you, like a doppelganger, looked like you. But now he looks less like he's still. It's more of a familial resemblance now rather than an identical copy.
Having seen this, I will begin crying.
He'll reach out like, no, 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 no. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I say it's clearly not.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yes, it's all right.
And I think that I'm just having a sloppy, sobby moment of breaking where I feel a connection to someone that's kind of part of me. It's something that I've never really had that I can really think of. It's sort of what I've secretly kind of always wanted to have with my team, but never had the words for it. And this is a concrete representation of that kind of relationship. So I'm just gonna cry into this thing's shoulder for a while.
He says, we're not alone. Neither of
That
us.
doesn't help the crying.
I know. And eventually he will cry until you both kind of work through that. And you can call on him for aid when you need to.
Neat. Thank you for the suggestion. That
Yeah.
move works well in the city, I think. If there's
Yeah. I thank Patrick for kind of pushing towards that last time. So but Patrick failed his role when he tried to do it.
Marvelous.
Yes.
But you can call on your doppelganger when we're in the castle later to try and help us.
Yes.
Neat. Okay, I'm good.
So Pam, let's come to you and see what you want to do.
What I want to do is find that darn dog.
Okay. And what is your goal with this? Is this just a thing you want to satisfy for your character self, or is this you trying to abate a crisis, or what?
One, is there satisfying something for my? Well, it's really I don't want to go into the castle without having found this dog.
Absolutely.
I want to unite them.
Oh, you're really cutting out. Yeah, I can't.
Yes, hold on.
Okay. Still getting a little bit of cut out there.
Like,
I may need you to put that in chat because I can't understand what you're saying. If you can. Are you on the road?
Yes, on the road.
Okay. Well, let's hold off on that operation until you get here, okay?
Yeah, that's good.
Why don't we do this? We're at kind of a decent breaking point. Let's take 10, take our first break, and then we'll
Okay.
come back and we'll see where we're at, okay?
Okay.
So Pam, this does feel like a little bit of a challenge, but it's also a way like you're trying to find some closure.
Yes.
So I think the move that I want to do is let your hair down, which is a check against lack. Maybe the idea that you're putting your resources into play to try and track this dog down. Does that seem fair?
Maybe it's even taking the easy way out, just going in and buying the dog from the breeder.
Yeah, we'll see what the role what the role is like, and you
Yeah.
can play with that. Sure.
Let me track that down.
Sure.
It's not- okay. Oh. That's confused. Okay. All right, so that's a good roll. So I think that's a strong hit.
A strong hit. So on look there, see moves. So on a hit, you can mark world and heal a condition.
Okay.
And you have a choice. I mean, do you make a friend via this? Do you see someone unexpected, or is just the getting of the dog back, which we'll figure out what that is, how you do in a second, enough to refresh one of your gauges? What do you think?
I'm probably getting the dog back is enough to refresh a gauge. That
Yeah.
just makes more sense. I don't.
And
Yeah.
what do you think it is? What I mean, it's a strong hit, so you do it well. You aren't just sloughing off. So what is it you do to that is like the key to finding this dog, this damn dog?
So I mean, if I rolled well, it probably means that probably means that I did end up doing my preferred approach, which would be to sort of get in there and actually like bust them.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what would make me feel better. You know, bust them for basically dog napping.
Right.
And probably probably the thing would be I would have purchased a scanner, a chip scanner.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere I'm sure they've been removing chips from these dogs to resell them. But, you know, if I find the chips, then I can contact all the owners of all of the dogs and just call them all the next day.
Nice. Nice. And what gauge do you want to refresh?
So I definitely won't be lack. Yeah, I think this is blood. I mean,
Okay.
this seems pretty likely to be one of those things that yeah, this feels more like mental health than it
Okay.
is the
Yeah.
outside world. Like to some extent, I'm resolving this without getting any credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't help me in the outside world, but it does help me knowing that I've done a good deed, as it were. So
That
yeah.
sounds good.
Mhm.
So we're going to kind of move our frame forward here. And we've got the group gathering at your hideout and then preparing yourselves getting yourselves set with what you know, and heading out to enter into this vassal's shard. Do we need to do a little convo amongst the four of you before you head in? Do we want to do that scene here? So anything? Yeah. So Charlotte, you're nodding. So before you go in, what are you saying to the group?
Kind of give a rundown of what I've found about Carla Moreau and like essentially her relationship with her son and this sort of weird, like, it's been fixed. So, there can't be any more work that needs to be done. That sort of weird, like she solved the problem and that's it. And then very closed down there. So in some ways, I think that the whole thing of setting a cascade of problems that keep springing back up might be a good way to particularly bring her around or down or whatever we need to do. So, because she seems to think of herself as a problem solver and not be all that cognizant of when it isn't actually solved.
One potential problem I could cause for her, out of character, this is sort of where I ran into a dead end I couldn't think past last time. I have a move where if I can just like spy on a castle person, I can whisper an incendiary lie to them that will turn them against someone of my choice. So this lieutenant, the surveyor, all he wants is just to boundary off areas and suck them down into the void to feed on them or to enjoy the process of watching them be dissolved. I don't know. But how can I pry her away from him? What would turn him on her?
Possibly, if I mean, I don't know if this is asking to the group or you're asking to the GM here.
I was asking to anybody at the table that had an idea.
Well, there are things that she wants to keep cordoned off to keep safe herself. So she doesn't want them to disappear. She wants them like preserved in a way. If that could clash in a way that sort of thing of
Maybe like the idea that while she's around, the surveyor's only going to get the table scraps.
whatever's left over.
Okay.
They're
I like
they're a better class of people who get the good stuff.
In the sense of Patrick pushing towards moves where he doesn't have to trust the evil dice. This is a nice one where I can just sneak up on them and press a button.
Excellent. Anything else anybody is throwing into the conversation before you dive into Atlantis?
Also, I don't know if it's at all relevant to this particular delve, but I do have a costume rack that we haven't really used. So if we all wanted to go in some particular costume, like we have the supplies.
That's an interesting idea.
All
I
right.
mean, it could be business professional, or it could be, Atlantean forebears.
Interesting.
It is unimportant. I cannot remember where did we find the entrance to this shard?
So she is in a government building that is open 24 hours, and her shard is essentially on that floor. There's that kind of pass-through area that people can get to, even though her offices are closed. People can go there, and there is an old, badly maintained, like picture map of the city. And stepping behind there was the entryway in particular the entryway into the submarine that Gabriel discovered last time.
That's right.
So let's move to that.
Well, that's sort of interesting. Why don't we dress up steampunk and like we got that submarine and we could do a very Jules Vernean entrance and everything.
Yes.
I don't know if it give
I
us any advantage, but it would be fun. So
I have
can
a
certainly-
whole array of top hats.
exactly.
Okay, I will take a hat then.
I will don the comically large goggles.
Nice, good.
I like the idea that when you go in your costumes that we've seen before, take on a little more steampunky air this time, a little more Vernian look. So you have advantage on this roll, and it is the dive into darkness. Gabriel, you are leading this both literal and metaphorical dive into darkness, and you have advantage on this roll.
Okay. And this is checking against blood, if I'm
Against
understanding.
blood, yes.
Okay. So this is just 3d6 then. Uh-oh.
What is your blood?
3, as a matter of fact.
Okay,
I think that's a full miss, even with advantage.
that is a full miss, even with advantage. So you may, if you wish, do you wish to evoke the covenant?
Yeah, now's the time to do that, I think.
Okay,
um yeah, I'm gonna evoke Asteria.
okay.
Because we're crossing boundaries between spaces, and she exists within a liminal space. So perhaps some of her knowledge of these places could be used to maybe navigate through.
I like it. Let's have you re-roll one of those dice.
Okay, I'll re-roll one of the ones and hope that it is a 4+. There it is. It's a 6. So that's a
That is
mixed success.
That is a mixed success. So on a hit, you're going to appear in the shard in the safe place. Tell me, given this whole steampunk and this change and a little bit difference here, Charlotte, what do you look like this time?
So here's the thing is I think she does have that sort of thing of if anything, it plays up sort of the mermaid look even more because it's the corset sort of plays the thin waist and then the peplum, kind of comes out and looks like fins and that sort of thing. And all of it kind of plays out more. But the thing is that like the silks with the stripes on them that are on her shirt, they actually shimmer and they pick up that scale kind of thing to them. It's very like, it kind of gives a sort of like, you can see the water moving is almost how it looks when you see it from away. So it looks like sort of blues and things, but it kind of has a shimmer, but they're in stripes. So it's almost as if light is coming down in stripes as she moves through things.
Nice.
Does that make sense?
And Pam, what is the difference in your appearance this time?
I think that the main thing is just that the cat ears are sticking up through the top hat.
Okay. Got a little bit of gears on there. And what about for you, Gabriel?
I'm thinking the harpoon is now collapsible, and it makes this kind of like noise as it kind of collapses in, and it's all very cog work and that sort of thing.
Nice. And Sasha, the costumer, how do you look different this time?
So I think that that outlaw coat that he has very serious like shoulders and epaulets and medals going on. And instead of like a gentle, like dark fog leaking out of the bottom of the coat, I think it's this like plumes of black smog that are billowing out from under the epaulets of his shoulders. And I think as his hood falls back, this is like the first time the others have seen him in the castle since he took over Kubiak Shard.
Mm-hmm.
And his head has changed into a vulture head, like the scary business daddy in the Shard. But his beak ends in the shape and like teeth of a key, and he's now got very prominently showing through different parts on his chest these glowing keyholes that I think in the steampunk aspect are sort of like flickering with gaslight rather than glowing with their strange steady light.
And the place that you dock the submarine in is this very like cinematic Greco-Roman ancient world style place of marble and togas and armor and anachronistic in terms of it looks, with a little bit of that steampunk element to it. We established a little bit of that. I think one of the things you will see is that the figures, the shadows, the minions that you see moving around through here are here. You come out of the water to go into this place, into the Atlantis itself, but there's water everywhere. There's fountains everywhere, and the people are all damp. But I think with other things you'll see is there are very clearly classes of people, and they seem to be defined by metallic sheen to them. Like there are people who are made of lead, and there are people who are made of tin and copper and bronze, and then eventually silver and gold, and it must be at the top platinum of that kind. That beyond that, all of the robes and things have sigils and things that seem to be markers of where people stand within the classes of these subclasses. And the other weird thing is there are lines everywhere, like a hospital, how they have those color-coded lines. There seem to be those around, and those seem to be restricting where certain people can go. They block people out from going certain places. People have to kind of follow these lines, and that's the movement of people that you are seeing around here. So here is the thing: is what's your reaction to this, Charlotte?
I think the thing is, I'm not in this set of classes and stuff, and there's these lines. And the first thing I do is they kind of like, I want to see if I can use these to start screwing things up. Is probably it. So
Okay.
if that makes any sense. So I think the first thing I want to do is see what the reaction is when I try to use them to move around. Because I'm not any of these things, and I will see if I can change things and essentially that.
Let us have you roll swords.
Swords. There's more of a okay. I mean, I can, of
Yeah.
course, but I thought it might be more of a clever thing than a tops on, but that is cool. So for swords, I'm at -1 and I'm rolling just 2d6, right?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, let's see how this goes. Ugh, very bad roll. What are my options here? Can
You can evoke a covenant, or someone can help you out.
let's see here. Would need a +2. So if I evoke a covenant, that means that I could re-roll
Yes.
both of the dice because it's a different
you
kind of
can-
roll.
No, when you evoke the covenant, you roll one of the dice.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I can try that just to see if I can get something going here. So I will.
And I forgot that
Evoke
help
what?
out is before you roll.
Okay, that seems reasonable. So I will do that and I will re-roll that too. So maybe it'll go well. It did. So that gives me an 8 total.
That gives you an 8 total. So tell me how it is that you disrupt the flow of these people here.
I think that what it is because the light is shimmering and stuff on my things, I can like make the metallic parts of my stuff key as if they're a different metal. And like people will see me doing that to cheat through, and it's no big trick for them to do it too. I essentially just create a thing where they can get out of their bonds. And it's not all of them will do it, but some of them certainly will. And that will begin that whole thing of they found a way around.
And I think as you're moving through there, you are causing that disruption. But I do think you can hear like the ringing of a bell in the distance to signal that there is disorder, there is chaos here from below, and you have begun to alert what forces are arrayed here. As Charlotte is doing that kind of starting that disruption, what are you doing, Pam?
I'm taking this opportunity to just kind of observe the situation, observe the system as it's being disrupted, but before it's being disrupted as well. I'm trying to figure out how we can get to someone higher up on the hierarchy here.
Sure.
Whether it's an enforcer or even just the heart, although I don't know if we can get that far. So
Let's have you roll see clear.
okay. All right. All right, I got a 10.
A 10. Okay. You get to ask 3 questions of the situation. We can kind of modify the wording there to
Sure.
represent the scene, but what do you want to know?
Okay, so which exit takes me to my goal? Basically, which way to go?
I think that you know that to really undercut the power, you want to face one of the enforcers, and in particular, Sasha said that he knows has a thing to deal with one of them, the boundary marker, the surveyor, and I think you will see the signs and markers that indicate like this is the path, the way that leads towards his den, towards his offices.
Got it. Okay, so that's first question. What can the enemies do here? Or here do? Yeah. What if we start facing hostility because of this disruption, what are we in store for?
They are masses here. And in particular, that seems to be her vision of the populace is as a mass. And that's the real danger, is she'll get you in some place where she will just bury you with numbers. She doesn't see anybody as an individual here.
Got it. What what should I be on the lookout for?
That there's a second enforcer that
Okay.
the bell is ringing for, is
Okay.
calling.
Mhm.
And with enough ticks on the alarm clock may draw their attention.
Got it. All right.
Gabriel, what about you?
I'm trying to think here. If we're trying to get kind of a clean line of access to this vassal, refresh my memory. Do we have a sense as to what the best way of doing that might be?
Not yet. I mean, the classic thing here is exploring, which would be to lean into travel in the labyrinth now that you caused some disruption and read the situation a little more.
Yeah.
And given that Pam has found some information, I would give you advantage on that.
Okay, that's the play then. As long as we've
Okay.
got advantage, might as well use it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So explore is looking like
Travel the labyrinth.
Yes.
travel the labyrinth. Okay. So we roll
I
with
think as we're like moving into that and Pam's talking about the signs that she's seen, Sasha will say, yeah, if I can sneak up on the surveyor, I can catch him and take care of him. So y'all look this way and try and find something closer to the heart of things, and I'll just go down this way and deal with him real quick.
Mhm. I will mark void, so that's a +1.
Okay.
Have we defeated an enforcer?
Not yet.
That's a
Right.
-1.
So just to be clear, are we going with that plan? Are the three of us going to go deeper into the shard, and Sasha's going to go on his own to confront the surveyor? So if so, my question of where the surveyor is probably applies to Sasha's travel the labyrinth and not Gabriel's. That's all I was
Right.
just so that everyone's aware.
I mean, you could definitely talk Sasha into not going alone. His major concern, though, is stealth.
What do you think, Gabriel? I mean, given who you are, would you take what Sasha said at face value, or would you say no?
I'll trust it this time against my better judgment, maybe.
Okay.
And that might come back to bite us, but that's okay.
So you're not going to have advantage, but you've marked void and you have spent time studying the vassal. So you're going to be rolling this exploration with a +1.
Okay.
You can ask for help before you roll.
Well, that would be good. That would be good. So, Pam, if you are able to jump in with that, that would be useful.
So let's have you roll with advantage.
So, okay, so I am rolling here this time with advantage.
Yep.
And is this an exploration or more of a going somewhere specific?
I had my assumption was if you're not going a place that you knew, you are exploring at
Oh,
this
by
point.
definition,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead and roll it at a +1 with advantage. That is a 7, just barely got there.
Just barely. I think that you will find yourself what you know is closer to the heart of this place, the center of it. I think you will see that there is a model of the city that's there. But it's in a pile, like it's all the pieces and parts, and some of the parts are dirty, and some of the parts are soaking in basins, and some of the parts are clean. And it's clearly about her vision of things, that everything fits together. And if it doesn't fit together, you just have to clean it up. You just have to reshape it to get it to fit. Like there is a state for City of Ocean. And the sense that maybe once that puzzle is fixed, then something is revealed, like that shows her the path to whatever ascension or whatever power she wants. Like that is her vision. And I think that as you are moving through there, Gabriel, as you kind of lead it, you will see that there is a pool there in the center as you move through, and you will see maybe a dozen of you floating in the pool. Just kind of floating, some younger than you, maybe even some older than you. And they are just floating there. What do you do, Gabriel?
My first instinct is that I want to release them somehow, but other than going in and dragging them out one by one, I don't know how you would.
Kind of walk over to the edge, and you're kind of looking. I think you're Charlotte, Pam, you will see this as well as you see Gabriel walk over, and you can tell these are things not unlike him that look like him. And I think as you kind of put your kind of like step up to the edge of this, Gabriel, you will see all of their eyes open. And you will see them begin to swim towards you and your companions.
I think I'm dumb enough to reach in the pool and try to like help one out.
I'm gonna pull Gabriel back. These are
Okay.
not you, and you shouldn't assume that they are anything like you.
Yet.
And these pseudo Gabriels begin to gather together and swarm up the side, and clearly there is malign intent as they rise up. We will come back to the three of you in just a moment. Sasha, would you please roll Travel the Labyrinth with advantage?
Sure. I will also mark void. We still haven't defeated Enforcer.
Nope.
I've definitely studied this Enforcer, though, that I'm going towards.
Yeah. So you're rolling with a +1.
Uh, 7, 8, though.
That is an 8. Now, do you want to Fate a Covenant and re-roll one of those dice? because on a
wanna
10
get there in a
plus,
controlled position,
exactly.
yeah.
What are you drawing on to do that?
I think I'm drawing on Leslie Gardner, as I've got that like way too many multi-tool out, and it has a little mini compass in it, and I have that out, and I'm like following the compass around.
I like it.
I'll re-roll that one. It's a 6 plus 4 plus 1 is 11.
So what do you think the office space for this surveyor looks like? Like, what do you see, and where is it that you emerge?
I think it's like an office suite that's made out of all conference rooms,
Mm-hmm.
and each conference room has like a couple of boards up that have like surveying measurements and pictures and Google Maps stuff of a particular district. But instead of a conference table in the middle of each room, it's just a hole, a void in the floor, sinking down.
Yeah. You'll see that there are stacks of transparency maps that, like, as you kind of look at them, they kind of vanishing point down in, like, there's each of them is slightly different, creating this layered look as you see those on the boards and things. And you can still hear that bell going in the distance, but you will see that figure, that surveyor there, and he is running his little finger over the outlines that are on the edges of one of these maps. And you're in a controlled position.
Yes, so I have Subversive Whisper. When you spy on minions of the castle unobserved, you can mark Void to whisper an incendiary secret into their minds and turn them against a target of your choosing. And as he's tracing his finger around the boundaries of this particular district or neighborhood, I'm going to whisper into his mind. What if this is all she ever lets you have? What if she keeps all the rest for herself and you just get the little neighborhoods?
And you'll see that finger kind of dig deeper and start to tear into the edge of that border there, and kind of rip the sheet there as it comes around, kind of tears at it until that kind of falls away and there's a blackness where it was. And you'll see the surveyor kind of working their hands, and then they will turn and kind of vanish out of the cubicles here. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, I think Sasha is so like just terrified and entranced by him moving that as he turns to go, like he does a stutter step right up on the edge of one of these voids, like these holes, looking down with that crazy vertigo perspective.
Mm-hmm.
He sways for a moment before he catches his feet and gets out of this area as fast as he can.
Excellent. So let's come back to the three of you with this wave of inhumanity roiling over to drag you down. Let's start with Charlotte. Charlotte, what do you do?
Interesting. So they're made of water the way that Gabriel is sometimes. Is
But
that kind of it?
yeah, but they are of substance, of flesh here.
I think I might meet them with something similar, like can I use Mother of Monsters and summon a jellyfish, like a huge flotilla of jellyfish?
Yeah.
And just with, all of their things dangling between us, these little guys will have to make it through, and it will be painful for them and hard work.
So Mark Void.
Okay.
And Stinging. And they will appear in the midst of them and sort of drive them apart, like their organized mass that's coming towards you is kind of broken up by this. So their attack is blunted, and gives you an advantage if you wish to strike at them or if you wish to try and escape them. Pam, what do you want to do?
Okay, I think I'm gonna try to charge and make a line through them, like, or make a hole so that Gabriel and Charlotte can follow me, hopefully.
Okay.
So I'm gonna use a Sugar Hawk move, as it were.
Okay.
Which is when you charge an enemy on a hit, you crash into them and push them far away from where they were.
Okay.
I
And
don't believe I have an opening right now, but
you don't have an opening, but we are affecting minions, and I think the jellyfish, given their strength, is enough to give you advantage to deal with this group of troops.
So I'm rolling with advantage.
Yep.
All right. So I don't need to ask for help yet. So. All right, that is a 6, unfortunately. So,
That is a 6. Do you want to fade a covenant?
No, I don't think I'm going to fade a covenant on that one. Yeah.
So I think as you go charging in, trying to take advantage of that, one of them steps up, and rather than grabbing you physically, they wash over you, and you find yourself inside of this watery mass. Essentially, you're now wearing them like a drowning suit. So let's have you mark a condition.
Okay. It feels literally overwhelmed. So
okay, yeah. Gabriel, you see this, that they've kind of been splintered. You're still, but maybe in a little bit of shock by what's going on. And then you see Pam charge forward, and the biggest of them that has come out of the water, surrounds her, and you see Pam kind of lifted up and starting to drown.
And are they in the water?
Some of them are in the water. Some of them have come out.
Okay. Is there a way for me to get to Pam, or are they being drowned by something, or have they just been thrown into the water?
No, they actually, one of these other selves of you has like surrounded them, and they're inside of the body of one of these things. You could try to power through to hurl your strength at the castle's obstacles here.
I'm looking at a move. Let me see.
Or you could reach out.
Yeah, you could call on your doppelganger to reshape the shard's landscape or occupy its attention.
That's on the table too. Lo, what was your suggestion just now?
There's a couple of ways you could reach out. You could power through. There are a couple of things.
Mhm.
Advantage doesn't stack in this game, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, because I think I also had advantage on that roll for my other move.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to try to make an appeal to, well, no, I'm going to try to power through. I'm just going to try to fight these things off, not in like a destructive, lethal manner, but at least get them cleared away to the degree that I can get to Pam. I don't think I have the wherewithal to even attempt to reach out. I
Sure.
think this is so psychologically messy.
Let's have you roll with swords.
Okay. That is an 8.
That is an 8. So you can destroy an obstruction. You can knock back and scatter a group of minions, or you can give another rebel a clear path out of danger.
I'll give Pam a clear path out of danger.
Okay. I think doing that, when you go to do that, you kind of have to push yourself forward. And I think that several of them grab you and drag you towards the center away from the others. Does that feel like an okay cost there on a 7 to 9? Oh,
Sorry, I muted. Yeah, that puts me in a bad spot, all right. So
yeah,
that'll work.
Drags you away. Let's come back to you, Charlotte. You see that your monsters have kind of kept them a little bit scattered, but Pam has been knocked free of this. But you see Gabriel is getting dragged down. They're going to drag him down into the heart of the pool to make him one with the water again.
And somehow I'm yelling, "Don't hurt them! Don't hurt them!" Even though that might not be advisable.
And you can always use your monsters as a fictional positioning for doing a move of some kind.
Okay. And so I have like this endlessly resourceful. And so because I had to spend void to give my guys a little bit of obedience and stuff. So so I spent the void for that. And then that
Okay.
took me up a rank. So I took another move and now I'm endlessly resourceful. And I see Gabriel, and I think that one of the things is even like sort of unbidden, I sort of reach out towards him because Gabriel, I saw him when I was a little kid. Like I saw him in that aquarium that we are behind, and I wanted him to be my friend. That was when he showed up, I knew that was how it was supposed to be. And I think without even realizing, I sort of reach out towards Gabriel, but the jellyfish do the thing like they do in the aquarium where they've all been in a group and they sort of like they do a swirl and then they separate. And the thing is for all of those other proto-Gabriels, they see what Gabriel saw and what I saw is that thing where we see each other through the water and we understand that we're supposed to be not together like forever, but we're supposed to be in the same world with each other. And it's that sort of thing that I give them that pause and that sort of thing that there's a chance for them to be an individual. So it's sort of a mental blow in some ways.
This is a reach out.
Yeah.
You're trying to form a bond.
Mhm.
Let's have you roll cups.
Okay. Yikes. My cups is 0, I think. No, it's 1. Yay. Okay. That makes all the difference, I'm sure.
It makes.
Okay.
all the difference.
If I rolled differently than I have, but no. So I think I have one more covenant I can. I'm going to try again.
Did you roll with advantage?
Did I have advantage?
Yeah.
Oh, then I will roll another die. So, sorry. So that gives me a 4 and a 3. Then +1, that's an 8.
That is an 8. So what do you want as your cost for doing this, for pulling them back from doing this thing?
What do I want as my cost? I think I, without realizing it, promise them that I'll get them out of here.
Mark Heat.
Okay.
And Pam, you kind of get pushed up, you kind of turn, you see Gabriel getting pulled down, but then you see these things almost like synchronized swimming, kind of stop what they're doing and kind of swirl with these jellyfish and kind of move information with that and let Gabriel go. And Gabriel, what do you do when this happens?
And they've basically dissipated, or
They're still there, but they're caught up with this ballet with these jellyfish.
Mm-hmm.
You know how jellyfish dance
Right.
to communicate? It's like that with these other versions and the jellyfish and that sort of swirling around, and they've let you go.
I'm gonna hightail it for sure,
Okay.
but I'm not willing to inflict harm on these things.
Yeah.
And to the degree that we're able to get out of here without further confrontation, I want to.
Yeah, and if we have an opening, then I would like to flee.
Absolutely. Pam, kind of grab Charlotte and move to the other side. Gabriel, you come out. If you don't take aggressive action against these things, you can move out of here without a problem. Sasha, shall we fold you back in with the others at this point?
Sure.
Okay. I like the idea that as you exit out of these chambers, Sasha, maybe a little more anxiously, nervously, is kind of coming the other way. And the four of you will meet up. What do you say, Sasha? What do you tell them?
I'll say I found the surveyor's conference suite. I think it worked. He's on his way to confront her, and he looked really pissed.
Okay.
How do things go on your end?
Perhaps less smoothly, but we're alive.
I just have a blank expression of shock.
I say, well, if this all goes well, we'll have a lot more friends.
All right. So do you want to travel and see if we can find the heart before the other enforcer catches up with us?
Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's been alarms going off everywhere for a while now.
Oh yeah, no, I've noticed.
So who wants to do the roll? You'll be rolling with a +1 or a +3 if you mark void.
I mean, I'm perfectly willing to mark void, but yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can feel free.
Then let's have you roll 2 dice, rolling with a +3. Look at that.
Solid 10. So
And
marking my void now. All right.
we will take a 5,
Okay.
come back, set up the scene, and face this vassal. Okay. So just a quick 5, and we'll come back.
Sounds good.
You will find yourselves on the upper gallery balcony of this amphitheater. Again, white marble. There are, rows, and there are different sections and subsections of people in the kind of the viewing audience. There is a great center point that is a throne. At each sort of apex point of the clock that makes this sort of circular amphitheater, there is an enormous statue of, like, very clearly a different sort of Greek or Roman god type, but all of them are female in form, and all of them have this same sort of golden mask on their faces, and she is all of the gods here. At the top of the dome is a lattice work of gold and glass, and you can see the ocean up above. When whales go past, maybe there's that black shadow that we saw before, that maybe has come closer because of the alarms. And you can see that down below, this woman in regalia, like the toga, and it was gold, and earrings. It's very much prestige drama, high Roman costuming, and this mask. And you can see down before her is this figure twitching like a butterfly, run through with this great golden trident and stabbed to the marble floor. And you will see the surveyor just twitching. And you have a chance to talk about how you want to approach this.
Oh, actually, that's our guy there. I thought, well, he's being distracting.
So she's here sort of royalty of a sort.
Yeah.
We're kind of costumed in an entirely different way, aren't we?
Yes.
She's got a very, like, god queen vibe going on.
Yeah. So, and doesn't that come with like a kind of chorus?
Yeah, I think there's probably a chorus of masked Greek figures behind.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that would be the sort of thing. Okay. So do we start with a distraction with, how do you say, a clash of costumes, a clash of drama, so to speak? I mean, here we are dressed as steampunk, heroes into save the world, exploring and finding the oddities of Atlantis. I think it would at least be insulting gestures to her royalty.
Dressed for the part.
Yes. And the thing is, as jesters, we can speak the truth. That's my first thought.
Pam, Gabriel?
That's on the table.
Sorry.
I do have a portable hole if we need to run to the hideout for a few moments to collect anything that could be useful here. But I like
Do
the
a costume
jester idea.
change.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have any Greco stuff back at the hideout. I suppose I could drape a blanket or a bed sheet or something over me.
Ooh, that would look awesome.
Could just go full toga.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It
what
just has
if
to be a fleecy blanket. That would be hilarious.
so? What if we like pushed on that jester role by infiltrating the chorus,
So
like doing a quick costume change, mixing in with them, and then like the chorus starts saying the wrong thing, or we take them over or something.
It's an interesting idea.
Pam, you were going to say?
Oh, I was just thinking, so while we're here, sort of staying back, I do want to sort of see if I can figure out more of how she exercises her power in this domain.
Mm-hmm.
Like see what her vulnerabilities might be.
So that feels like, at least from here, it's a C clear.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards doing.
Sure.
Yeah. I just yeah.
Let's have you roll coins.
I'm good with people getting dressed up. I'm just probably not going to get more dressed up than I am. So I've got some time to kill if that happens.
Why don't
Yeah,
you roll
and I think
coins?
Sasha will pull Gabriel back, and they'll have a conspiratorial, and
And I'll
pull
use
out
my
your
notebook
whole.
on this, which gives me advantage on C clear.
Yeah.
That is an 11.
Okay. What is your first question?
All right. So my first question is going to be about what can the enemies here do? So what do you need to look out for with her powers? Is there anything that I can see that kind of reveals that or cross-reference with my notes?
So I think I can tell you that one of the qualities that she has is she has those 12 giant living statues that are at her beck and control. I think as you are kind of watching, you will see that they shift slightly their attention focused on where the surveyor is. Like they are clearly her tools in this. Does that seem like a fair answer?
Oh yeah. I guess the other two questions will be what should I be on the lookout for and what here is of value.
There is a glint off of that mask that suggests to you that that is a tool of both power but also of reflection. And likely that is some magic bound up about that. And then what here is valuable? Probably that golden trident that she's run the surveyor through with.
Okay. Sounds good. And just you get advantage one time using those as a heads up to everybody.
Gabriel, you are using your portable hole to go in and grab additional costuming.
Yeah, I suppose so. Anyone need anything while I'm out?
If you could bring us some masks, but different colors, not different metals, but like black, white, just so that we have masks to wear as well.
Do I have time to collect those? I don't know how long these portable holes last for.
I don't know.
I've got an extensive costume wardrobe set up, and I've actually got an idea for one of the masks. When Gabriel comes back in with stuff, I think Sasha, like, we reaches his finger into the glowing keyhole in his chest and pulls out a line of like gold, splashes it on the inside of one of the masks, and it makes symbols of the 9 Greek muses. And I want to try and do an improvised ritual with my magician to
Okay.
grant this mask the ability, gives someone the ability to speak with the voice of her chorus, like hijack the speaking voice of the chorus.
I like it. What do you roll for that?
Chords. And that's a 7.
Okay.
So, on a hit, it works, at least for this delve. On a 7 to 9, the architect will give your magic a weakness, quirk, or unintended side effect.
I do think that the weakness is that you can use it like once, but then it needs time to gather its voice together again. How does that sound?
Nice. And I think as the glowing light fades from the sigils, they'll hand it to Charlotte and say, "Here, this will let you really dig one in with the voice of her own chorus, but make sure you use it for the right line."
Charlotte, do you want to lead the kind of the move to infiltration before we roll the Emperor's New Clothes? You're muted.
Sure. What does that look like?
It's wands. You've gone, I think Gabriel is helping with the disguise, right? You've gathered the pieces. So you can roll wands with advantage.
Okay, so that's 3d6 plus 0.
Sasha's in full chorus get up to sneak in with you.
All right. Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's a special role.
So I think when you go to move, you've got these disguises. Yes, you want to re-roll?
Yes. I can roll just one die, right?
If Fate a Covenant and roll 1 die.
Oh, well, it might be okay. A 6. So 6 plus 2 gives me an 8.
Gives you an 8.
So much better than a fail.
So I think you get into position close by and get yourself set, but like very quickly you can sense that there's a change, like there's an awareness,
Okay.
and you're close enough to have closed the distance, but like you're not going to get a big advantage here on this first like go. But what I'm going to have you do is roll now the Emperor's New Clothes. You're going to be rolling with 5 dice on that.
Who's rolling this?
Gabriel, you haven't rolled for a while. Why don't you roll me 5d6?
Oh boy. Okay. No modifiers.
No modifiers.
Okay. Here it goes. Oh, for heaven's sake.
Oh,
Well, that's just terrible.
Well, that's an 8 is what that is, right?
I suppose so. It's off of
Okay.
3 1s, a 2, and a 6.
Now, do you want to Fate a Covenant and re-roll one of those dice?
I don't know that I have any left, really.
are we
I
adding
could
anything
fade a
to it?
crew covenant, I suppose.
You're adding nothing to it. This
Oh,
is
but there
the
was a
Emperor's New
6, I see,
Clothes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Could I fade my crew covenant?
Yeah. Absolutely. You get 2
That's-
steps on that.
Yeah, I think we're at about that point.
Okay.
So we'll fade that, and I get to re-roll one of them.
Yep.
Okay, re-roll one of the ones. So, let's see what that gets us. Oh, I'm not sure if it rolled. Did I click it right? Try one more time. There it goes. Okay, that's a 5.
There you go. So this is the 5 of you like calling out with your discordance, revealing yourselves, drawing attention, and creating that crack that makes the vassal's avatar vulnerable, that turning, that shock, that surprise, and disrupting the connection of this shard to the castle beyond. Like that cracks across that. And with a 10 plus, you have a choice, Gabriel. Do you want an opening? Do you want to give one of the rebels weapons the ability to cut through the avatar's sorceries, illusions, and blights? Or do you want to subvert their power? If you defeat them now, each rebel gets an extra boon in peace and quiet.
Let's give ourselves an opening, although
Yeah.
it could be an emotional opening if we want to talk through this, but an opening nonetheless.
So let's go through this. This happened. Let's work our way across the keeper. Sasha, I believe that you are on the far left, right? Correct?
Yes.
What do you do? Have an opening. You are in amongst the chorus that is kind of behind and above her. You're in this amphitheater. You know, as soon as she kind of turns and moves with shock, you see the look of shock on the faces of all 12 of these statues. What do you do?
Yeah, I think while we were like hanging out in the background of the chorus and Charlotte was waiting for the moment to step forward and really let her have it, the crimson chains have been sneaking out from under Sasha's coat there, and maybe like wrapping around some of the nearest statues to try and bind them up and keep them from answering her call.
All right. So this is strike, because these things are her qualities. So these are the things that you are attacking in terms of how the game meta goes here. So this feels like wands, right? Stealth and guile.
That's how I described it.
Okay.
Not
Unless
terrible
you think it's something else. Is this precise insight? In which case it's coins.
I don't think it is, because they're big dumb statues.
Okay. Let us have you roll.
All right. None of that. Roll.
Do you get advantage on this one?
No. I don't think so.
Well, from the clear eyes.
Oh, yes.
From noting statue. So yeah, you get another die.
Ooh, I will take that 4 and 6 together to make it 10.
10. So on a hit, you are going to remove the opening and break one of the foe's qualities. So your chains have gone out all around the arena. Tell me how you shatter simultaneously these 12 statues.
It's that moment of they start moving and straining against the chains, and it seems like it's obviously going to be too much force, too much raw power from these statues for Sasha to be able to like restrain them. But that's when Sasha does a little flourish and steps back, and all the chains are actually intricately connected to each other. So as like one of these statues jerks its arm to rip itself free, another one, the chain like tightens around its leg and it cracks and falls off, and they're using their own force against each other.
Perfect. And there will be this explosion as these 12 statues go crashing down. You will see her kind of lift up as these pieces go shattering down, and she stands atop this dangerous and deadly rubble, but these things are done. And effectively one of her three qualities is destroyed. That's the meta of this, and she's turned to face you, Charlotte. Wait, I'm sorry, it's Gabriel next. Gabriel, what do you do?
I'm trying to remember how the mechanics work here. Do we need to secure additional openings?
Yep, that opening
Okay.
is gone. So the next thing is to secure an opening to allow for further attacks.
Okay. And the attacks that we've been launching obviously are of a physical quality. So maybe there is a way to pull an opening here. I'm just clicking over to it here. Okay. Yeah, line it up is what it looks like. Or pressure. That's fine
Yeah.
too. Yeah, let's do applying of pressure by
Okay.
maybe launching an attack with swords and see
Okay.
how that goes.
Absolutely. So go ahead and roll with swords. Are you doing anything to give yourself advantage? Are you calling a friend? Are you
Well,
using a tool? What are you doing?
Well, I just rolled and got a 6. I don't know if I can retroactively say I'm doing something to get advantage.
So you're using pressure. How are you trying to use pressure?
Yeah, I think that what I'm doing here is
Like, are you trying to tie up the trident? Are you trying to like to knock her mask ajar or something? Or...
I like that. Let's see if I might be able to kind of strike the mask and either crack it in a really theatrical way or even knock it completely off. That's what I would be going for.
Okay. So what is it you're doing to is there anything you can do to get advantage? Would you that you would have called for?
That
to do
would have
that?
been my what should be on the lookout question.
Okay, yeah, we can use
okay, we can spend that there.
the
advantage.
second of the three
Yep.
advantages that are kind of free floating, if you want to use
Mhm.
that.
Well, I figure there's
Okay.
like one advantage to each what appears to be quality. I don't know if the trident is a quality, but I feel like the other two probably are. So
Yeah, the other two definitely are.
yeah, so that's why I'm suggesting you
Yeah.
use that reference.
Okay. So okay, there we go. The advantage die was a 6. So that comes out to be a 11 total, I think.
That's 11 total on pressure. So you get to pick 2 from pressure there.
Let's expose an opening and give an ally a window to act freely. Do I declare the ally here?
Yeah, you can say who you set up.
Charlotte, have you gotten a chance to get in on this yet?
Not yet.
I will open up an opportunity for Charlotte.
And we see you go in, you're striking at that mask, right?
Right. And it says I have the kind of long harpoon, so it's very easy to reach.
It requires you to get close. You have to jump around in this dangerous stuff. So I need you to roll dodge because they have an opening on you.
Well, this will not end well. I have 1s at a -1. So let's give that a go. Seven.
A 7. So you are able to successfully dodge as she attempts to turn the harpoon back upon you, but you need to pick 2 from the dodge.
Let's say I'm separated and have fleeting disadvantage.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of to get out of the way of this, you're forced to throw yourself further past her. Charlotte, Gabriel has rushed up, has taken the hit, and has provided that opening.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is that the opening is that essentially she's swinging at him, which gives me the opportunity with that sort of that chorus powers that I have, and the fact that this place is watery, and all of those things, where I can move sort of up behind her and say, "Oh, your mask is broken. What does that mean? Who are you? I mean, who are you?" And essentially, and I will say, I mean, you're a mother, right? And then I'll try that. I guess I would use a precise insight plus coins.
Plus coins.
Okay.
Yeah, precise insight or emotional appeal plus cups, either one.
Oh. Let's see here. Probably coins. I want to actually do that thing to say that, like, essentially the thing of, she's a mother, but maybe not so great at it. So there you go. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I just rolled 2d6.
Yep. Plus coins.
Plus coins, so plus 1. My rolls are so bad. That's 9.
That is a 9. So I think there is that moment when you're up behind her and her attention has kind of been drawn to Gabriel, and that mask shatters, just as like the masks that were on the statues that have fallen in various places, they shatter at the same time. And she will turn, and you realize that her hair is kind of watery and Gorgon-like. I need you to roll a dodge.
Okay. Let's do it. So that's just a 2d6. Yeah.
Plus wands.
Plus wands, which I think is 0 for me. One of these days I'll remember my stats. Yeah, wands are 0. So 2d6.
I can help you out on that.
Oh, whoops! I rolled, but if you want to try to help me out, I rolled 4 and a 1. So.
Are you helping Sasha? If you fail, you'll both suffer the consequences.
Yeah, I think that web of chain work is still out there, and as you're having to like run across the water on the floor, it sort of tightens up and gives you something solid to grip on.
Roll 1d6, Sherry. So what's your wands? 0? I can't. You're muted.
Wands is 0.
Okay.
So gives me a 7 because I have a 5
7.
and a 2.
So you and Patrick both need to pick 2.
Sorry.
And which move was this? Sorry.
Dodge.
There it is. I'll take disadvantage and leave my chains behind.
Okay. And what are you taking, Sherry?
I will stumble, taking a disadvantage, and let's see here. What do we have that's valuable? No, I guess I'll get separated. I will be the one that gets separated.
So there's that is her gaze kind of turns, her Gorgon-like gaze across, but you avoid the eye contact with her. But you can see that she's kind of like on her back foot at this point, but all of you are in very bad positions here. Pam.
Yes, so actually acceptable for me so far.
Exactly.
So I'm hopping carefully through the rubble, which I believe you refer to as dangerous rubble, and it probably is. And to try to just sort of lure her into like she's attacking with a trident. She's probably trying to the rubble's much bigger than me, so I'm trying to sort of like tie up her trident for a moment just to get a good look at what she's doing and how she's trying to attack now, so
Okay.
that I can line it up.
All right.
So I'm going to use my last fleeting advantage to get advantage on this.
What is the question that you asked that gave you advantage on this one?
What's of
you think?
value? I'm trying to remove something of value from her, which is to say her trident.
But she's not using the trident, though.
Oh, she's not using it.
No.
Well, okay. All right. Then I will roll without advantage.
Yeah, the trident at this point probably buried in the rubble. You can get to that. Right now, her attack is this gaze of the Medusa that she is using.
Okay, got it. I was not aware that she was not still holding the trident. Okay. All right. Then I will I'll roll without advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, no one's really available to help me, so that is what it is. But I've got covenants I can use.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right. So I will try to line it up by just fading in and out between the different bits of rubble to
Perfect.
lure her through. Okay, so I have a 14.
Nice. So what is your pick there?
I think my pick there is that I'm probably gonna slip up a little bit, and I think this is a persistent opening. We'll sort of figure out what the opening is after this, but I think she will send an attack my way.
Okay.
I think that I will at one point meet the gaze of the Medusa.
Yeah. I mean, you're drawing her attention. You're seeing. You can communicate that to your fellows, but there is just that one glance. So let's have you roll dodge to avoid that danger.
Sounds good. All right. All right. That is an 8.
That is an 8.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want as your 2 picks on that?
Actually, I'm going to I was just debating whether I want to bring in something to help that.
Oh yeah, you should definitely do that.
But yeah, so I can't use the bright. I can only use. All right, so I feel like Sugarhawk's chariot speed would be appropriate to sort of slip right out there just in time.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if I can roll above a 3. It's a 50-50 shot, but it's worth a shot. So I got a 6. So that
you all have been crazy good.
That becomes an 11
rolls.
Yeah.
What does that look like when you get out of the way? What is it that you do?
I think there's this moment where we sort of cinematically see her catch the gaze, and we see this the image of the effect hitting what looks like me, but it's actually a reflection in the water.
Nice.
And so it has no effect because she doesn't realize until that moment she launches the attack, and it's that moment there where I actually see what's really going on with her.
Nice. Sasha, there is an opening. And you are the only person without disadvantage at this moment besides Pam.
And if you can find the trident, you get advantage. You could probably get advantage with it.
Yeah, that's. So I've lost my weapon, so I need some other way to attack.
I would, if you want to try and grab that, I would let you roll flow like water and then try to make your strike.
Yeah, I think it's we're both diving for the weapon at the same time, sort of thing.
Sure. Roll with wands.
That's my nothing. Cool. Roll some dice. That's a 5, but I do still have the multi omni mega tool. And so long as I keep it with me and draw strength from it once per investigation, I can turn a missed move into a weak hit.
So you wish to take that weak hit?
Yes.
So she is right up there with you as you grab it. You know that she is going to strike hard with this, with her forces, unless you make this hit. Go ahead. What do you think your strike is? Is it?
I should be in position to help.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That would be nice because I don't know if this is precise in sight. This is probably just direct force, and I'm terrible at that.
So swords with advantage.
Oh, fuck me. That's a 6 minus 2 is 4.
Would you like to fade a covenant?
I have one more intense covenant. That's Sugarhawk. Man, I thought we were strong. I thought that one was going to last. But I will definitely re-roll one of those ones. Oh, the modifier. Oh, it's going insane. What? No, stop it. There we go. Roll the die. Jeez, that's another one.
I think that as you rush up to grab her, you grab a hold of that trident and she looks you straight in the face. Mark a condition. Let me just say this. Let me say this before we go on.
Yep.
Here's what's going to happen. Here's the danger. You're going to mark a condition, and then you're going to have to roll dodge.
Okay.
Okay. So that is the danger. Now, if somebody wants to do stand with me, they can do that. I would just check. Otherwise, let's go ahead and move to the roll for the danger there, Sasha, for the dodge.
Yeah. And I'll roll next after you. So
roll next for what?
That's a 6.
I helped. So
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You have to roll too.
You know what? Did I help? You already had advantage from having I guess technically there was no point to helping.
That's right. So I don't think you need to
All right,
do
that's
that.
fine.
Okay.
All right. Got it. I'll unclick this. Yep.
What does she turn to stone, Sasha, besides your throat? Is it a leg, an arm, an eye, a hand?
I don't know what this means, but I think it's that like inner light that's been shining out through the keyholes. Like she stares into that hole in his chest and it just goes dark.
Goes like the lamp goes out, and you feel that tightness, constriction in your throat, and you realize that you can't speak, that your voice has been frozen, that you are silent as you are supposed to be, according to her. Charlotte, no opening. You see Sasha stagger back. Pam is up there. Sasha still has the trident. but she is rising, raging, burning, and triumphant.
Let's see here. I guess I could try to line it up. And here's the thing is, I still, like, my jellyfish didn't go away. Yeah.
Right? They didn't take a hit. No.
No, they took no hit. So this is the time when I think that I am going to use line it up, and I am going to start that ballet in between, you know, her and the rest of us.
I will let you expend them.
Yes.
They will be destroyed for this scene, but it will negate your disadvantage.
All right, that's good. So then I can just roll.
Yeah. And as you spin, you turn them, and her gaze goes across, and these jellyfish turn to stone and crash and shatter onto the floor of this place. Roll, line it up.
Okay. 2d6 plus coins, which is a +1. So that's an 8.
Okay.
So that's it. I just say, you're so good at destroying. If only that was what was needed. So I get to pick 2 that are going to happen. So the opening only lasts a few moments.
Okay.
And I'll take the fleeting disadvantage on strike.
Okay. What are you doing, Gabriel? There is an opening.
Yeah, I've got
have
fleeting
disadvantage.
disadvantage on it though. But at this point, it's kind of all or nothing. So I'll strike if I can.
Do you want to ask for help or get help from someone?
Is there any? I'm separated from everyone, so
That's right. Yeah,
I don't
there's
know
a
if
double disadvantage. Are you going to have anything? We'll go with the fading afterwards, or any tools or things before we make for this roll.
No, I don't think my my portable hole really applies here. So
You do have a giant clam, though.
I do. I wonder,
Do you want to use that like a shield to protect you from her gaze?
I was gonna say, is there a way to do? I could pop it open and distract her with a pearl. I don't know. That's not a clam thing. I don't think.
That is oysters, clams.
That's an oyster thing. I think they're different. In any event, I can't think of any realistic way that I could pull advantage out of this. I think I'm just gonna have to rely on fading more and more covenants.
Let's have you roll then.
That's okay. So this is gonna be with swords, I think.
With swords with disadvantage. What? No, that doesn't seem right. Uncalled for. Is that
That's still a 10. Yeah.
Holy shit. Gabriel, what does that strike look like against the odds, separated from your companions, at a disadvantage? What is it you do to shatter her?
Herculean harpoon toss, like a javelin.
Hail Mary throw of this. She's turned to face the others that are around her. These jellyfish are falling and shattering around. And then there's that shook as the harpoon comes out. And we'll see her stagger backwards and drop. And there'll be that crashing sound as the ceiling shatters and the water and the submarine come but plummeting down for you to make your escape. What does that look like let's do a little sort of descriptive montage. Pam, water is flooding in. This isn't a role thing, it's a narrative thing. This
Sure.
Sarah, what do we see you in this scene?
Okay. So I will probably, there's a thing I wanted to do.
Sure.
So what I'm probably going to do is, because I have a death castle move. So I'm going to do I have my claws. I can do an emergency tracheotomy on Sasha to remove the curse.
Okay. So we see you like with magical claws sort of tearing away this stony shell.
I'm literally, yeah, just basically ripping Sasha's throat out. But it's the bad throat, so that's okay.
Yeah. Sasha, what do we see you do after this strike happens and ceiling water collapsing, submarine, maybe there's the Kraken out there. What are you doing?
I think Sasha like takes a huge gasping breath, and as Pam turns to like survey the crumbling danger around them to find a path out, Sasha like half reaches up to start standing up and following her, and just from out of the water all around him, there's these malformed clay dampling hands that come out and just like shoot Sasha back into the depths of the water, and by the time Pam turns around, he's gone.
And what about you, Charlotte?
I think as soon as the water comes down, and there's a whole thing of, I think that's when she turns back and she calls to the other Gabriels that it's time to come.
And summons them to come forward and swim and rescue and save each other and
Yes.
yourselves. And Gabriel, what about for you?
Well, I was about to do a thing where I pause and look longingly at them, but if they're coming along with us, then I will just rush to my harpoon, and we already established that thing is collapsible, so it's going to do the whole jink thing, and it's going to have this random expulsion of steam that comes off of it for some reason. I'm just going to make a beeline for that submarine.
Perfect.
Probably up to my waist in water by the time I get to it.
There's a big high effects budget sequence that goes on in the aftermath of everyone escaping out of here. There is a procedure then, move-wise, for resolving what happens once you've defeated a vassal. So when you defeat a vassal's avatar, the power they gathered is yours to control. As for the vassal, they're stripped of the castle given power, and you're each going to pick an option with effects according to the vassal's tier. And this is on the miscellaneous procedures tab, column E. It's reformation, liberation, expropriation, redefinition, or occupation. Pam, this is a tier 2 vassal. What is it that you would like to do?
So I'm thinking, sorry, oh, there it is. I don't know. I think I'll take the reformation thing. It doesn't actually look like I can do something to help Amara, but maybe if I reform the vassal, that will basically do the best I can to prevent her from facing consequences from the leafleting that we did.
Nice. What about for you, Sasha?
I think I'm gonna lean into the occupation and get the tier 2 of that as these damplings become full-on minions, because I still have that imminent threat. So in the peace and quiet afterwards, my lack would overflow. It talks about like getting taken out or swayed by the castle side.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would like use this break between stories to change over to the Penitent playbook and
Interesting.
have us come back like sometime down the road when the rest of the group is having to break Sasha out of where he's become a part of the machine.
Perfect. We'll do epilogues after we make these picks here. But I like that a lot. Charlotte.
Definitely Reformation. First and foremost with her son, but also to Throne. Essentially, I don't think Throne would let her not make it, essentially I don't think he'll let her get away with it.
Nice. And Gabriel.
I'm thinking expropriation is appropriate because
Okay.
it gets the. I feel like we have resolved that crisis in the form of the doppelganger, so I'll pick that one. And also, it looks like I get to refresh 2 gauges, which is cool. So cool.
So let's move to our epilogues, and then our any kind of stars that people want to throw out here. Pam, in the immediate aftermath or down the road a ways, what do we think your epilogue looks like?
Okay. Well, I think my epilogue is my talking to the dog's owner, the dog that I got found how to get back to them. And then explaining how, oh no, I mean, there's the, it was returned by the police. You didn't do it, so you don't. I don't see why I should pay you. So
classic walking away, looking at your empty wallet.
Yeah,
but nice. Sasha, yours is, I guess, a little darker. What is your epilogue?
Yeah, I think we see like the boardroom chair in Kubiak's Shard, as Sasha sort of limply gets thrown down into it, still dripping water, and we get a like time lapse fast frame going forward as the dampling minions around him, like their suits get sharper and cleaner, and someone like comes by and takes off his wet jacket and replaces it with a pinstripe business code, and they like fix his hair into a perfect shape, and finally someone comes by and like ties up all of his crimson chains into a tie that goes down the front of him. He's just like blindly, monotonously stamping things. I think we see him like stamping an eviction notice for Sugarhawk's mom, and we see him like signing things for various other NPCs to go after them. And it's all just this repetitive montage until like a hand slams down on a stack of papers in front of him. He blinks and comes back to himself, staring up at, I think, Pam, flanked by the other two, saying, "What happened?"
Nice. Charlotte, what is your epilogue?
I think you get like maybe a month later, and it's like there's a bonfire on the beach, and you see Victoria there, and probably maybe Gabriel. I don't know, Gabriel, and Terrence, and like all of her connections, including Harold, I think his name is. Howard. Excuse me, Howard, and even the oceanographer guy. Just like kind of all the friends that she's made over this time, and they're sort of having a good time. And then there's a certain point at which she sort of like everyone's laughing. She kind of stands up and she goes over to the water in the dark, like walks out of the flames, and she's over by the water, and you see you see the other Gabriels and they come out of the water. They're starting to look different from each other, and they've swum up. They swam up. They look like people at this point, but you could tell kind of it's still them.
Gabriel, what's our epilogue? How do you want to add to or transform what Charlotte has suggested about that?
I'm all right with all of that. I think mine is going to be left in kind of an open-ended cliffhanger sort of way, but I
Sure.
think we established prior that Sasha taught me a thing or two about scuba diving.
Mhm.
And so I would like me to be scuba diving with the doppelganger in my epilogue. And, it's this kind of deep, not necessarily coral reef, but it's something of a reef with very high vegetation, maybe a kelp forest. I'm not sure what ecologically would be in this part of the country,
right.
but very high vegetation, and maybe we part the kelp a bit. And this is where it's a cliffhanger. There's some sign of the castle lurking there, and there is still work yet to be done.
Nice. Maybe some rusted red chains buried down there in the deep of the lockers.
I like it.
So that's our series of Voidheart Symphony. I would like to go around and get quick stars, thoughts from folks. We'll do the same order. Mendel, anything you want to throw a star out for?
Oh yeah. So I've liked the evocative description very much, and liked a lot of the interpersonal stuff that's been going on. I'm aware that I haven't done as much of that in my character, but it's I really do like the dynamic between that Sherry and David were making between their two characters, and I was enjoying a lot of the some of the subtle romance subplots that I think pretty much everybody was doing. So yeah, so I enjoyed how that added a lot of texture to the situation or to the story. So
Nice. Patrick, last thoughts, stars.
I really enjoyed how complex the web of NPCs was and how everybody's relationship to each NPC was a little bit different. I love the way the game pushed that forward. And I also really liked when things just got like out of hand, surreal, and weird in the castle. The whole like dozens of Gabriel clones flopping out of the water all over everything, which is such a weird and over the top imagery to like keep bringing back through this session. So I really loved those aspects of it. Like I sort of joked before, like if the whole game was just building up your covenants and then slowly wearing them away, I would sort of be into that.
Yeah, it adds a weird set of pressures that kind of draw away from that. It's really interesting. Sherry.
There's a lot of good stories, a lot of pathos, a lot of neat things. They're not downtime moves, but the prep moves, the city moves, and the your character stuff was so strong and so like such good story in that. But the thing is when we got into the castle to do this stuff, even our fights and the way that we did things was still calling back to all of that. It was one of the things that probably brought forward all of that prep work and the sort of theme of it more than a lot of other games that I've seen. So that was very neat to see. I mean, that's the players as much as anything, but that it was very good for that. It was a satisfying set of procedures in that way, and not in a procedural boring way, but it worked together, and it did make a good engine for explaining how things were going, for getting the story told. It was good.
The idea of having moves based on your friends,
Mhm.
and the idea of using that bond with your friends, which is kind of like how bonds work in Hearts of Wulin, but it's even more kind of concretely defined in this. I think those are really interesting, really good ideas. Kind of makes it more like Psychonauts in some ways for that. And David.
Yeah, on my end, I thought the theme and the setting was fascinating. Just the way we had all of the sea and nautical oceanic themes in play. Really liked all the different settings within the castle. The Atlantis one was super interesting, as were just all the others. The variety was so neat. I like the way the game mechanizes relationships. I haven't seen another game that tries to kind of do the persona thing, do the mundane side of the game quite so effectively. I think that's one of the system's strengths. And on a personal note, I just really liked the playbook that I had and the way that it goes through questions of exploring identity and making that sort of a sub story for you that you get to go through while you're handling the broader issues that are relating to the castle. And so all of that stuff I thought was really, really neat.
I'm glad you picked one of the sort of more unusual, fringy of the playbooks. That was a really good call, and it did open up some very interesting space in the play. And it does make me curious about what changes with some of the other playbooks at the table. There's a lot of really interesting stuff here. It took a while for us to get our feet under us with this, but it is pretty cool. Thank you all for bearing with the weird scheduling and all this. I was glad we were able to get to the end of this Vassals story, and I am going to stop the recording.